Hey guys, welcome back to the next episode of Documenting People with me. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey so far. I really appreciate all the likes and comments and views that you're giving. It means a lot to me. I never thought I would come this far. This is the seventh episode, which shows a lot of consistency, and I hope not to stop soon enough. Please share it with your friends and let them know that something like this is happening, and if they are interested in stories about people from various walks of life, I think it's a good place to be. And if they are interested in documenting their lives, I'd love to talk to more people. I love having these conversations. This is a new channel. Do consider liking the video, sharing it with others, subscribing to the channel, and it would mean a lot to me. And if an hour long video is too much for you to watch, please go ahead and listen to it as a podcast. As always, all the audio links for this podcast will be available in the description box below. You can write in to me at documentingpeople101@gmail.com. I would love listening from you. Today's guest is Ahsan. He is an artist, he is a palmist, he's a writer, and he's a photographer, he's a traveler, he does a lot of things and a very interesting personality. Without any further ado, let's start the conversation. Start with my first question, which is, how would you want someone who doesn't know you to know you?
I'm a person who is doing a lot of things since the beginning. It's of course, palmistry is one thing. I'm really into occult astrology, like trying to understand astrology, and then also writing, doing poetry. I wrote a novel. I worked for it for 5 years. So I mean, you can imagine this thing and then I traveled. Then I have a day job. I became a father, women, and then automatically it's not a simple juggle for me. Um, I and on the top, I'm not a musician, but I have a very sharp ear, so I can
Yeah.
pick up on the. You can confirm that with him as well. But I'm able to compose the things because this is
Yeah.
who I am. I'm an artist, and this is how
Right.
uh, occultist and artist. This is the combination. This is why I'm a, yeah. Again, I think people are more interested in to know more about astrology and palmistry because these are. I mean, my main message is to aware the people,
Yeah.
about the scammers. I really want to and then, for example, like you remember we were talking about it that
Yeah.
you don't really believe on it. And I'm
Right.
not here to make anyone believe on what I am saying. All what I'm trying to say is that I'm putting my point of view in front of the different people, and I'm trying to show
Right.
them that, listen, this is what it is. It's not just about, when you will get married, when you will hit a jackpot, when you will get a job, will you be rich, will you be famous. It's not all it's about that. It's more about knowing yourself. And this is what, they say, know thyself. And this is everybody learns about themselves with the passage of time. But now we live in a time when we've got so much media influence, and there are so many things that we just don't really, the kids who are coming, they just don't really know where they're going. Especially here we have different things, but over there you have this very strong, powerful industry which is perpetuating the images, and now we have a very strong social media. So
Right.
automatically people are just like thinking in a way without even realizing that if this is their potential or not. And this is what really my idea is, that know yourself and then put yourself out there, knowing that this is what you're capable of and this is what you're bad at. So you would not waste the time. You will not enter into the wrong jobs. You will not enter into the wrong relationships. You will not enter into the wrong. And once you will know yourself, eventually, because in my opinion, the most important part of having uh, this life is to know the source energy, to know the God. Okay, this the spiritual aspect of the life. Because of course आप पैसा कमा सकते हैं, आप गाड़ी ले सकते हैं, उसके बाद आप बच्चा पैदा कर लेते हैं, ठीक है, आपको जिससे आप मोहब्बत करते हैं आप उससे शादी कर सकते हैं, मगर उसके बाद क्या होता है? एक जगह पे तो
Right.
आपका full stop आता है ना, तो वहाँ और वो, and this is exactly the reason why people go through these midlife crises. You're too early, too young to know this thing, but there are
Yeah.
certain points, but certain people are, they're born with a mature head over the shoulders. उनको पहले ही पता चल जाता है 20-21 साल
Mm.
की उम्र में कि यार अच्छा ये तो बड़ा कुछ, कुछ मामला गड़बड़ है, और उसके बाद फिर आप चीज़ों को अपनी तरह से सोचने की कोशिश करते हैं, आप किताबें पढ़ते हैं और आप देखते हैं कि क्या होगा.
Where you born? Where we'll start with
Where I was
where
born.
were you? Yeah. Where
So,
were you born? Or
yeah, yeah. So
वहाँ
I'm from Lahore,
बचपन से.
or yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Lahore, Pakistan. That's the place where I lived for first 2 decades of my life. Interesting place, very interesting place. But I think I don't have really any bonds left over there. No, this is true. There are only two things which I really love about my background. One is our food, and the second
Mm-hmm.
one is Urdu, the language, and the the artsy part and the philosophical part of that.
Right.
But apart from that, I don't really think so. There's nothing much I can relate to.
Well, what's your earliest memory that you have? मतलब बचपन की आपकी कौन सी बात आपको याद है? आपको लगता है कि ये सबसे पहली मेमोरी आपकी लाइफ की?
That I'm in my grandfather's house. अपने दादा के घर पर हूँ मैं शायद, और I'm playing cricket with my mother. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Used to have a pet, and Jackie. So just playing with Jackie, playing cricket with my mother, asking my father to give me a motorcycle ride before leaving for his work. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. So मतलब कौन-कौन था घर पे उस टाइम? मतलब you spoke about your parents and your grandfather, so I'm thinking it's what was a joint family sort of a situation which you generally have.
I mean, yeah, when it of course, I mean, I think in East we have this family system anyway, that that
Yeah.
one of your grandparents is usually living with you. So initially, yes, I was living with my we have my grandparents from the paternal side and then from the maternal side. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just a very very normal, typical South Asian household, I would say.
हाँ. तो आपके parents क्या करते थे?
It's just my dad's a businessman, my mother's a housewife.
Mm-hmm.
Still.
That's good. और फिर आपकी schooling भी वगैरह सब you were like proper in Lahore or you moved around in Pakistan?
No, I was always in Lahore. I was always in Lahore till I left,
Mm-hmm.
and I came over here to England.
Mm-hmm. तो school कैसा था? मतलब was it
School
good,
was
fun?
okay. School was fine. I mean, not. I wasn't being bullied. Everything was okay. I
अच्छे
think.
student थे आप?
I was always good because I think you can see that actually. That I was good. 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 I think the um, I wouldn't say that I was on the top. I was not at the bottom either. I was like in first 10 students of
Mm-hmm.
always.
Which is
Uh,
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's okay. School left. The most interesting part at the school was that when you know, when you're getting older, you're about 14 or 15, and you see a girl, because I was in co-education, so I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how does it work out in India, but we have co-education system. We also
Yes.
have so you have the
Same.
same. So yeah, it was co-education. Of course, you get the crush. So those girl, your first interaction with the opposite gender, that
Mm-hmm.
made an impact. And then and of course, when I was 14, I started studying palmistry, and it was I didn't have any I didn't have any opportunity to know what because at that time I wanted to be a musician, and I was so curious that I just couldn't contain myself, and I was like, oh my god, how what I'm gonna do, how I'm going to know about the future. uh,
Right.
and I was just 14, and then one day I remember very clearly I had chemistry exam on the next day, and what I did was I went out of the school. I had some money, and I went to a bookshop, and I bought
Mm-hmm.
a small pocket book uh, about palmistry by an Indian author,
Mm-hmm.
and that is where I noticed that I have, something in my hand at that time, which shows that I'm very artsy. I can be a musician, and that really triggered something inside me. And I was like, okay, so there is something, and I need to know more. So in order to know
Mhm.
more and more and more, I was just keep buying the books and trying to, uh,
Right.
learn more. And when the other people, we have this very sneaky culture in Asia that everybody's trying to poke their nose into others' business.
Right, right, of course.
So then when they saw, oh my God, this boy, he's reading this book about palmistry. So, or maybe then, they were like, okay, go on, tell me what will happen. Will I marry that girl, or, the same BS as
Typical
always.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So, and then, I was just, what I read, my memory at that time was really good. And I was younger, so I was able to memorize a lot of stuff and then practically apply that on the palms. And I was able to tell few things. And then, you know, if I was not perfect, then my listeners were not perfect at that time either, and they
True.
didn't scrutinize me. They were like, "Yeah, this is true, this is true." And I think I think I really need to say this thing out loud. That the way everybody cannot become a doctor or engineer, in the same way you cannot become an occultist. You cannot be an astrologer, like a real astrologer, or you cannot be a real palm reader. You cannot be somebody who knows numerology and play with the tarot cards. The thing is that a cult choose you. Okay,
Right.
this is so. I think that you know a cult chose me. You know, and that is there in my birth chart. I mean, when I look at my birth chart, I can see
Mm-hmm.
I have so there is within the astrology, either system, Eastern or Western. Eighth house belongs to secrets. It's a very that's the reason people say that, oh my God, the scorpions are very dark, general
Mm-hmm.
perception that. And eighth house is, and that's the eighth house, that so anything what is hidden under the ground, which is buried, that is represented by the eighth house. And I have like three planets over there, major planets
Mm-hmm.
there sitting over there. uh, and then one of the this most, how should I say, infamous shadow planets, Rahu, which is the north
Mm-hmm.
node of the moon, which represents basically obsession of a person, is actually
Right.
aspecting to that house, to those three things. So automatically I'm like interested in human psychology, in anthropology, understanding human mind, understanding the cultures, how they're formed, understanding anything which is unusual. I like to know about that, mysteries of life. Philosophy goes, in a certain way, like it really, really knowing that what is moving the world around us. So I think that is how a cult chose me. So automatically,
Right.
what I was doing, I was good at it, and I was getting good response. And this is what I was saying at the first part. The most important thing is know yourself, know thyself, know yourself, and then you would automate your journey will be easy. So it does not matter
Right.
which religion you're from. It doesn't matter what is your, if you are the cream of the society, so-called cream of the society, or
Mm-hmm.
you are from a middle class person, or you are somebody who is not that well off. Regardless of that, the most important, you have a journey. If you came in this world, there is something for you to conquer,
Right.
to learn, and then to spread to the others. It's not just that you come, have, eat, sleep, have some kids, and then disappear.
Yeah.
No, there's much more to that. And I think this is what my whole concern was from a very, very young age. And I think palmistry helped me in knowing myself, and then yeah.
Oh, that's good. Also, it's very interesting that you found the passion, so to say, or like what you are interested in at an early age, because like 14, 15 is really young.
Yeah,
And it gave you that much more time. The sooner you pick it up, the more fertile your brain is and open to concept, because आपके preconceived notions नहीं होते ना. So you are more open to things.
I'm very stubborn, and I think this is the thing which, so if I'll set my mind on something, I'm going to go and do that thing. This is it. This is like how simple as my, This is my focus. I want to do no. I want to do something. I'll do that. I will find a way, and I'll go. Of course, I had a lot of hurdles when I was learning about palmistry, and same with astrology, because my dad, you know, bit conservative, and I don't know how. What do you know about the Abrahamic religions? But and most of these Abrahamic religions, Islam, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, they have these connotations that that astrology is not good, or palmistry is not good,
Mm-hmm.
occult is not good, because people are doing wrong things to others, or you sell your soul to the devil or something,
Ah,
a concept like that. And that
right.
is really not true. I mean, it's true in a certain way, but there are always two sides to every single thing. I mean, if I would have a match, I can just I can light a candle and I can burn a house with that as
True.
well. So you can do anything. So it really comes to you. This is the reason. I mean, for example, in Hinduism, where you have different gods, then you have their Kali, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the
Right.
goddess of destruction.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Saraswati, which is all about knowledge. This is how I think people need to look at the things in a certain way, that you have to choose. At the end of the day, you have to choose your own path. So rather than shunning the people and stopping the people from knowing the occult, you don't really need to go out and learn every single thing. I think, but the most important thing is that as much as you can learn, which will help you in enlightening yourself, that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing. And the second thing, which is important, is that you would not become fool in your life. Because, for example, and I'll tell you why it is so important. All of us, we go through phases of life where we are
Right.
down, and where we are just it's just question mark, confused completely. We don't know, go left, right, center, who we are, what we need to do. And that happens to everybody at different stages. When you're maturer, somebody can go through divorce, somebody can go through a midlife crisis. If you're younger, you don't know which career to choose to. You are in love, you don't know what to do. If you want to get married to somebody, you don't know what to do. You don't know about yourself, you are not sure about your. And there are these things, when we go through these cycles where we have absolutely no clue, and we are directionless. And this is the reason where the occult comes into the play, because that is that unknown hand
Mm-hmm.
which can show you the guy. So if I am a palm reader, then you see that how much huge responsibility I have as an occultist,
Right.
because at the end of the day, maybe somebody is going to take a huge decision based on my analysis. In the West, people go to psychologists, psychoanalysts, and there are different people you can go to. And then of course here they call them light workers, crystal healing, light working, reiki,
Mm-hmm.
this and that. All this known word or this known knowledge is not able to help you. This comes into play. I haven't met even one single person who was not affected at some point of their life from a weekly horoscope, a daily horoscope, a video from
Right.
the YouTube. Oh, I have a lifeline. Oh, somebody told me I'm gonna die soon. Absolutely disgrace. And this is the reason why I want everyone to know a bit of that. This wouldn't happen that you will go to the astrologer, your local Jyotishi, and the guy will like, आपका तो आपकी तो राहु की दिशा चल रही है, और उसमें आपका मंगल बुरा बैठा हुआ है, और ये और वो आपको
Right.
डराकर जो है ना, they'll say, okay, you know what, if you give me 10,000 rupees, I'll do a remedy for you and you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me? Say that again. This is what really, really makes me sad. In Pakistan, we have the same thing. Oh yeah, you can make, we can, it's called law, basically. It's like, pass, man. So that we, like a talisman, basically. Oh, I can write you a talisman. You can just wear it.
Mm-hmm.
You can wear that charm, and then,
Yeah.
no, this is not true. If we have karmic debts, according
Yeah.
to the Buddhist or the Hindu religious myth, or whatever you want to call it, okay, if we have karmic debts, who am
Mm-hmm.
I to shred those debts off? In that way, you will just keep coming. you'll do the
True.
same mistakes, you'll die, and then you'll come back again, you'll reincarnate.
Yeah.
And now, we are in this Kali Yuga or Kali Yuga. This is
Yeah.
so I mean, this is the reason you see so much chaos. If I want to say it like from the Abrahamic religion point of view, right? Like from Islamic point of view, the thing is that if the God is giving you a trouble, He wants you to learn something out of that. Okay,
Right.
this life is not bed of roses. It's like full of test and trials. You're going to be tested every single day in your life somewhere.
Right.
And this is where it becomes so important that that rather thinking that, oh my God, I should do something to make to just get rid of this trouble. No,
Escapism problem है ना, like people, even if you know of a hurdle that is going to come, the first thought that people is कि वो hurdle हटा दो, ना कि prepare yourself to overcome it. You just want the hurdle to be removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, escapism is the problem. आपको no one, the first thought is never कि how do I prepare myself to, let's say, overcome it or deal with it or anything like that. And that it sometimes pisses me off as well, because the general perspective is escapism. कि
Yeah, I
कोई और
mean,
कुछ सही कर दे.
this is what Rumi said. I mean, if somebody is interested in Islamic spiritualism, they should really go and check out this guy. I mean, highly, 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 highly recommended. His poetry, his work is amazing, out of the world.
Yeah.
He says this thing, that wound is that part where the light comes in. यानी कि चोट वो जगह है जहाँ से रोशनी आपके अंदर दाखिल होती है. Right?
How
And that,
beautiful.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this is what I really want to do through this podcast. I think this is the most important thing. If I can take this message even to just one single person, that person's life is changed even momentarily. That's a huge thing for me. And this is the reason I'm trying to, say these things. That escapism, you said something about the escapism, that, people are generally, escapism is always here. Since the birth of Adam.
Of course.
It's from the beginning. Okay. Nobody wants to be tried, and this is the reason why we have this supernatural force, that the karma, basically. As you sow, so shall you reap.
Escapism is there, has been there, and will remain to be there. What is the point of evolution if you do not learn better? Like, I'm just saying, escapism is not going to help you in the longer run, is what I feel. I may be wrong, and people may differ. I don't want to offend anyone. That's my opinion.
This is fine. See, the thing with escapism is that if somebody wants to run away from something, and they think that that's the best way, that's fine. I mean, that is the reason we have drugs. We have a drug issue. We have the alcoholism. We have we have all these things because we don't because we are not satisfied with our life. And I think things are getting worse. Unfortunately, I don't want to sound pathetic and I don't want to sound a pessimist over here, but unfortunately, because the way the society is growing, this trend is going to, it will be on the increase. The reason is very simple, because people are more materialistic and they are less grounded. They are more into things. They're like, acha ye le liya, about this now the next thing is that, now the next thing is that. They just don't let the life flow. They want to control the flow. आप दरिया को कैद नहीं कर सकते, और जिंदगी एक दरिया है, वो आपको बहा कर ले जाता अपनी मौजों के अंदर. और इसीलिए जो मैं बता रहा हूँ कि एस्केपिज्म या भागना चीजों से, कोई आपको, अगर आप अभी नहीं पकड़े जाएंगे तो थोड़ी देर बाद पकड़े जाएंगे.
कभी ना कभी तो वही the same, I was saying exactly the same thing, कि it may help you, good for you, go for escapism, but घूम के आपको डील तो करना पड़ेगा. आप अभी कर लो, बाद में कर लो, it will come back to you.
And the reason, you know what, the things which happen to us are just reactions of our actions. आपकी जिंदगी में जो भी हो रहा है वो एक एक्शन और रिएक्शन के तहत हो रहा है.
Something that is bound to happen, अगर आप फिर किस्मत में है कि आपको उसको डील करना है, then nature will find a way to deal it to you in a way that you have to deal with it.
Yeah, the life will throw that curveball at you regardless.
For sure.
Later. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the life is all about action and reaction, and this is what it is. And I think most of the troubles which we have in our life is actually because of our poor decisions, or actually, I believe in destiny in a certain way. I love one of my favorite Pakistani author, Mustansir Hussain Tarar. He said this. I was reading one of his novel a while ago, and he used this analogy that when he was a child, at that time he doesn't know how to write. So when he used to go to the school, the teacher used to, put the dots to
Mm-hmm,
write
mm-hmm.
A,
Right,
B.
right.
He said the destiny is just like that. The God has
Yeah.
already placed the dots for you. All what we are doing is we are joining them.
Correct. Right.
That's it. And this is, think about this analogy. There are so many books written, but this is one of the most beautiful and easiest thing to
Yeah.
understand, that there are things which are aligned right out there. And it's just going to be joined. And that's it. And and that's what destiny is. Your life is already there, and this is why I think astrology. This is what the astrologers say, that
Yeah.
that the destiny is there. You have got a free will. Yes, we have got a free will.
Let's come back to your childhood. You found a palmistry and you were interested in that. Apart from that, कोई और hobbies भी थी आपकी या
मोहब्बत
you were
करना,
like so engrossed in it? मोहब्बत करते थे, which is a great hobby to have.
हमारा कौमी खेल, our national game.
हाँ, तो
मोहब्बत
फिर आप
करना है।
बहुत पॉपुलर होते होंगे अपने अपने टाइम पे
नहीं, पता नहीं जी,
among
अब मैं तो
amongst the
पॉपुलर हूँ।
girls.
मैं तो अभी भी पॉपुलर हूँ। आपने देखा ही था कुछ अरसा पहले क्या हुआ था।
नहीं बिल्कुल, तो मतलब ये पहले से चला आ रहा है. You are very popular then, which is good.
I think, you know what? It's नहीं, देखो यार, how should I put it? When you're an artist, your emotions are out there. At the end of the day, any form of art, I'm not talking about the contemporary art, okay, not the commercial art, even the commercial art as well, because you're just exploiting the feelings there. Art. But at the end of the day, if you're an artist, if you're writing a piece of poetry, or if you're writing prose, it is coming from somewhere. And because we are South Asian people are very, very warm. Our culture is very warm. We have all, and especially because I'm Punjabi, and we have all this Hi Ranja, Sasi Punno, Soni Mahiwal. So I am. So that is the part. That's the. These are those cult stories. For example, I mean, how popular Ranja and Heer is, that every second Bollywood song which they are playing,
Of
you will,
course. Yeah, yeah,
right, and then
yeah.
and what's the name of our super famous Bulle Shah?
Bulisha. Yeah.
ये Bulle Shah, Baba Bulle Shah, his poetry, तेरे इश्क ने छाया कर थैया थैया थैया. I mean, it's that thing is. I mean, I don't know if you know the history of that he was actually turned himself into a dancing girl, and he danced in front of his mentor in order to get his attention, or to win him back, because there is a whole thing, and that is true. And that now, if you think about it, that happened about what, 500-600 years ago, and that is so way ahead of time.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is that I'm I was raised with so we, as an artist, automatically these are those little things that they're going to hit you. आपको कुमार सानू के गाने भी पसंद आएंगे, आपको सोनू निगम के गाने भी पसंद आएंगे, आपको जो है क्या नाम है, आपको सब कुछ पसंद आएगा. जो बड़ा, you will like Gulzar's poetry, you will like Jageet Singh's ghazals, you will like Pratibha Singh, Begel. Yeah, I mean, you will just like everyone.
No, but everyone likes it. I haven't really met anyone who said that they do not like. And in the subcontinent, love, so to say, is such a overarching concept, and not just the romantic love, just in general. As you said, the people are very warm, and love isn't. It's more than just romance, and it is true. But अब वो commercialization और इस सब पे चलते हैं, when you say love, people just think a boy and a girl, and अगर थोड़ी सी awareness है तो फिर the same gender relationships, but romantic. But love is much more than that, and it has been explored in the subcontinent बहुत पहले से. ये अंग्रेजों ने आके पूरा गेम खराब कर दिया हुआ है. We were way better back then.
I also believe that the love is overrated as well. Relationships are overrated as well.
Relationships maybe. Love, I'm not too sure. Love is not overrated.
I mean, I'm talking about that typical,
romantic wala love, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That because
Completely.
Yeah, because nobody falls in love with their mother and write a piece of poem. You have to. You are bound to fall in love. you know, I mean, because when you're younger, you do not really understand the gravity of your relationship with your parents. You really understand that later in your life when you are already,
Right.
जब सर के आधे बाल चले गए होते हैं, आपका बच्चा पैदा हो चुका होता है, या
Right.
घर से आप बाहर चले जाएं, कोई लोले पोछे करने वाला नहीं है, कोई खाना पका के देने वाला नहीं है, या इस तरह से जब चीजें when you're living by yourself, then you understand that, okay, how important the parents are, how
Right.
important the family bond is.
Yeah.
But when you're younger, if you are a heterosexual person, or if you and
Yeah.
even if you are in the same sex orientation, if you are attracted, if you're a girl, you're attracted by another girl. If you're a man, you're attracted by another man, which is perfectly fine. The whole idea over here is that that's where it really sparks, because we are young, and then your hormones are playing up, and
Right.
automatically that which fuels, that, because you are feeling so, oh mere khuda main kya karu, and then you go out and then you write, or you talk to somebody, and this is how it starts. My journey started in the same way, like someone couldn't talk to anybody, being very living in a very conservative society, and then just going and then writing, and that was the next stage of my life where I found myself acha, that I can write, that I can. So I have been writing poetry since 17, 16, 17. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
Nice.
prose more or less started later as well, but yeah,
You
answering to
found the
you.
flair for writing then. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think this is one of the reason also. You said, oh, so that's why you're popular. No, it's not that. It's not that. I think if you're a man or a woman, regardless, you want to hear how the other person is feeling for you. Men, unfortunately,
I'm
are
not
more
exclusive.
repressed soul. उनसे
True.
बात नहीं होती. ठीक है ना,
True.
they
True. True.
they they just can't come out and say confidently that, oh man, मुझे ऐसा भी लगता है, मुझे ऐसा भी लगता है, मुझे ऐसा भी लगता है, because probably we are not trained. What I'm trying to say over here is that is the reason, one of the reason that I think I'm able to communicate with so many people easily, is that because I can relate to them, but also in terms of the opposite gender. I think
Right.
the important thing is that I'm able to express in a form of in a poetic way, or if I have to write something for someone, I would be able to do so. And I think that is really what catches the attention of the opposite gender. That, oh,
Sure.
acha. What was that film? Shah Rukh Khan's film. I think it was Dar. Dar. Yes.
There is the one with Kajol and Sunny Deol, na?
Yes. Exactly.
He
So I
he
mean, you have
has
that Shah
Kajol's
Rukh
pictures
Khan
all over the room of it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
psycho character. I mean, that's one, but at the same time, you would like that character, but then you like Muhabbatein, where he's a music teacher, a violinist,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that, I mean, so you can see that how it attracts you. That it's the same. I think it's same actor playing two different roles, and how it's catching the audience generally. People
I
like
know. Yeah, and it goes a lot to the actor also. I feel because it's a complete. We are going off track the discussion, but still, because we mentioned, I'll go there because I always feel that Shah Rukh Khan was the villain, so to say, because
yeah.
उस जमाने में there were no grey characters. तो उस टाइम पे सिर्फ hero और villain होता था, and Shah Rukh Khan was the villain. And then when the movie released, everyone was
Anti-hero.
like supporting the villain, which is like very weird, and it's a very
Anti-hero.
bad story. Anti-hero. Yeah, yeah,
Anti-hero.
yeah,
Anti-hero.
yeah,
So yeah. So this is
yeah,
what I'm saying, is that expression is really important, and I think
yeah.
writing is a form of one of the most beautiful form of expression.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
I'm so lucky that I'm a Urdu speaker. Just love my language, even though I'm using English predominantly for this interview. But yeah, it's what I'm
Yeah.
so lucky that I'm able to speak and write and read in Urdu.
Okay, so फिर आप अपने कुछ कॉलेज के बारे में बताएं ना आपने वहीं पे किया and then how you moved to UK.
College was pathetic. Um,
Mm-hmm.
one of the lowest of my life, because of the wrong
What were you studying?
uh, economics, mathematics, and statistics. And I just want to add, 3 words: fuck this shit. Okay, the lowest of my life. One of the absolutely, I mean, undoubtedly lowest.
And why
Uh,
you
bec-
say so?
because of choosing the wrong subjects.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely crap at that time. I mean, I don't see anything. I hate mathematics. I mean, I'm good with numbers. Paise aa rahe,
Yeah.
paise aa rahe, good. Money's coming in, money's going out. I'm good with that. I'm on the top of everything. Fine. But the mathematics which they teach, oh my God, the integration and all that, Jesus Christ, I can't just take that. Anyway, long story cut
Mm-hmm.
short, really bad. And also, one thing which I really want to mention, if you're documenting something about me, like I said in the beginning of the interview, I said this thing that I don't have any true bonds with my background, and the reason is that I was never really there psychologically. Since I was 17, 18, I just wanted to leave. I am a completely different person from
Mm-hmm.
90% of Pakistanis you will meet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say that out loud. Okay,
Yeah.
this is the reason I wanted to move away. And then after, thanks to my mother and to the God or to the divine, eventually I left when I was like about 23, I think 22, 23. Yeah, and then that since then, and then automatically I moved later on to Czech Republic. I was working there for one company. Then I was working for a while in Slovakia with one accountant. Then I was working. Then I was in
Okay. So you
Germany.
moved out with a job. Like you आप job
Yeah, yeah,
लेके you moved.
yeah. And then yeah, I came back eventually back to England after a while. I traveled a lot. I mean, that this is another thing. Traveling
Yeah,
is
I'm really interested in your travel stories because I've heard that you've traveled a lot, and I want to. I haven't been able to, so that is why I'm very interested in.
thing with the traveling is this. So when I was, so I have to go back since the age of, I don't know what, 8, 9, I'm reading. Okay, once I started
Mhm.
reading, once I was able to read Urdu, I just started reading children's magazine, and this journey continued. You know, then then a point came in my life that that the children's literature was not my thing because I was outgrown
Mhm. Mhm.
from that. You know, from that psychological state. Then I started reading the novels, and then the same writer, the one which I mentioned earlier, Muslim Santara, he's known in Pakistan for a couple of reasons. One, he was a television personality, he was a host, but the second thing, which was really more important, that he wrote travelogues. He traveled. Uh,
Oh.
yeah, so he came to England in 1956, 1957 when he was like what 18, 19, and then he
Mhm.
went to Moscow during the Soviet Union days, and then he wrote these novels. So I started reading his books and his travelogues,
Mhm.
and they left such a huge impact on me, um,
Right.
that that was like adding fuel to my fire. When I was growing up, I didn't know what really to do, but I was not feeling at home in
Mhm.
Pakistan, and I was like, okay, chalo kuch kar, mujhe kuch karna hai. And then his books and the travelogue show me a direction. Ke acha, is taraf. That is who I am. And then, of course, I started, asking my parents if they can send me to Ireland. I wanted always to go to Ireland, but of course, it's not that easy process.
Mhm.
Visas, fee, money. Oh my God, there's the paperwork which you
Yeah.
submit to these European countries just in order to get a visa is unbelievable. So yeah, but that is where it started happening for me. So I used to collect pictures. I used to download these pictures of Iceland, parts of Europe, churches, castles, natural, landscapes, and then that went with me throughout. And then automatically I left. My traveling uh, really started when I left England for the first time. I went to Edinburgh. Amazing. I mean, so how I travel is this: that I travel by road. I take buses. I don't
Mhm.
fly. I take buses. I take buses and I take trains, and in this way, I'm really going with the. I'm looking at the scenery. I learn the
Yeah.
geography. You stay in little towns, and then And then when I'm in the city, I'm not using the, either I'm using the public transport if I go from point one to point two, or either I'm just simply walking. Like really,
Yeah.
because what I like about the European traveling is the way they structure the cities. So you have a central city where you will have all churches and all these sites, the sightseeing which you want to do. It would be there. So it's like city like London, that's a bit difficult because it's a huge city. But in most of the cities, you would be able to do
Yeah.
that in Europe. That there wouldn't be that as much as what we have over here in England. But yeah, so I wanted to go to Scotland, but on the way, I first time when I left, and I didn't have no clue what I'm doing. One of the most memorable. I paid £7, £8, which is nothing, and I slept with about 20 people in the same room in the
Mm-hmm.
hostel. I used to have like a
Yeah.
small Fuji camera. I put it between my legs,
Uh,
put the jump, put the thing, and that's it. And I bought a fish and chips in the morning, ate half of it in the afternoon, ate half in the night to save the money. So backpacking basically,
yeah.
living in the hostels, traveling by buses, booking the tickets way in advance. So you will just buy the tickets very cheaply. And that was my first experience, and it went really well, amazing. And then when I went to Prague, it was even much more so, because that is the part of Shenzhen is the part of the group of 27, 28 countries. They So if you have a visa for one country, you can just travel to the rest of them as
Yeah.
well. So being in Prague was amazing. The reason was because it's a landlocked country. So on one side you have Poland, one side you have Germany, one side you have Slovakia, and I used to just take the buses to go to the places. One of my iconic journey was I booked a bus from Prague to Copenhagen. Prague, it crossed all the way, across Germany, went to Copenhagen, lived there for 3 days. So everything was planned though. So, and then from Copenhagen, I went to Sweden. I have a couple of cities I stayed over there. Then to Norway, and then from Norway, no, not to sorry, so from Copenhagen, then I think, oh my God, I need to look at the map now. So
That's okay.
I did Denmark, just the Copenhagen. Then I was in Norway, just the capital, Oslo. Then I was in Sweden, Gothenburg, and then from Gothenburg I went to Stockholm, and then from Stockholm I took a ferry. It's a cruise basically, 8 hours
Yeah.
cruise to Helsinki, and then a couple of few days in Helsinki. Then I took another cruise. It's like more that is ferry, and then I went to Estonia, and then from Estonia I came back to Finland, and from Finland I took a plane back to Prague, and then flew back to London. So something like so things like this. I mean, like
So
15.
the entire trip you plan in advance, right?
Yeah, I planned it couple of months in advance.
Like you still plan and travel, and you love to plan everything and then set out, or you're one
So
of those people
there are two
as
things.
and when things come.
So there are two things which are really important in traveling. The first thing is that where you're gonna stay and how you're gonna reach
Mm-hmm.
there. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if you're just going to one city, that's fine. I mean, then you can just book a bus. I think the process is pretty much the same. The journey which I told you about the Scandinavian countries,
Yeah.
that was one
Yeah.
of the most. I think because it took me at least 10 days just to figure out that how I'm going to do that, because
Mm.
you don't have so much money. I mean, if you are
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
middle class guy, then you have the money. It's not so much money, and you're just using something, and you want to save everywhere. So that is the reason. The best way is that to travel by buses. Buses are very cheap. Generally, if you book them in advance. I stay in hostels, and then so sharing a room with 6 people, 5 people, 10 people, depend where
Mm-hmm.
you are, and that's very important. So these two things are sorted, and then you can just go and have street food
No,
up there.
yeah, but then it seems like you enjoy the planning part as well. Like I know,
Uh,
because for some people they are like, okay, they pick up an itinerary from now you get it on the internet. All these bloggers are doing these trips, and you can
yeah,
get their itinerary. Follow that, but
yeah,
like you seem like someone who loves planning it as
yeah.
well. Like,
For me, the important part is that where I'm going, I need to know that place, and this is what
mhm.
this is what I learned from my favorite author. That that's what how he used to travel from like a place to a place by hitchhiking, at that time. And like, older I am, lazier I am. I will not lie. Older I am, lazier I am. I think I'm more now like, oh, and you know, but if you're alone, that's completely different. But if you're going with a family, then you can't be in the hostel. Or if you are
Right,
going with a
right.
girl, then it's
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
different. You can't just. It's not that she's gonna sleep on the top of you and you're going to sleep on the. So
Yeah,
not that I have not done it. I've done that as well, because if you don't
yeah.
have the money and you just want to travel, yeah, just travel. Traveling is so important, because until you will not travel, you will not understand that how similar we are and how different we are, and things and all these. I mean, unfortunately, between India and Pakistan, there are so many hurdles just for people to travel uh, inter countries. But imagine this thing: if the Indian people will meet the Pakistani people, and the Pakistani people will meet the Indian people, how many stereotypes will break up?
I think 99.99% of them will be broken because yeah, let's not get started on that bit because it makes me really emotional. Of course it's evident it will come up if like two people like people from these two countries are talking. It came up with Hammad Bhai's conversation as well, and I was like, I genuinely get very sad because since I since I remember, I just want to go to Lahore, and I know I can't.
I understand that the background of our countries is poor. We've been colonized. The people don't have that much economic bone. They don't have that much money to travel. But that's my dilemma. Your dilemma is my dilemma, and this dilemma made me come out of Pakistan because I just couldn't travel. Ask any British person, ask any French person, ask any German person, like a child, like growing, they will go for a Euro trip without even
Right.
thinking.
Yeah,
They will.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, the kids will go from school. From the kids from here will go from the school kids. They will go with their teacher. With a school group to a different city, or they would go for a like something. They'll go to France.
Yeah,
They'll go and they'll do something. What do we do with our children? Nothing. As a
yeah.
child, I don't remember a thing which I would have done with
I know.
with my school. And the thing which is so important is that when you so as a Pakistani, as a Muslim, okay, I should be allowed to go to Iran
Yeah,
without a problem, but I can't.
of course. Yeah,
One, because the young people don't have so much money. They don't have opportunities to do work, especially in Pakistan. I mean, I don't know how things might have changed now, because we have all these YouTubers and bloggers, and there is a different. You can get
hmm.
something. You can mint some money. But the thing is that at that time I had nothing,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I couldn't go. And on the top, and for you as a female, it's just you would think your parents would be like, नहीं नहीं बेटा तुम रहने ही दो, मुंबई के तो लोग
exactly.
ही खराब हैं, या
Exactly.
या
So it is so true. I love traveling solo, and I've got just two opportunities to do that. And I love traveling solo by myself. But the problem is within India, I cannot do like I myself realize it is not safe. It is not safe. It's tough. So, but my parents, they're okay if I say that I want to go to Switzerland or France
yeah,
or
absolutely, I get it.
Dubai, and they're like, yeah, sure, go ahead, go on a solo trip. But within India, they're like, mm-mm,
और यही चीजें हैं जो मुझे फ्रस्ट्रेशन का जो शिकार करती हैं, और यही चीजें हैं जो सबसे ज्यादा तंग करती रही हैं। उन्हीं का बैकफायर है कि मैं यहाँ पर बैठा हुआ हूँ एक
mm,
मुख्तलिफ शहरियत लेकर। अब एक
mm,
मुख्तलिफ
mm,
जगह पर, ये नहीं कि अगर आज मैं एक पाकिस्तानी होने के नाते मैं कहता हूँ कि जी हाँ, मुझे तो ठीक है जी, ज़ुबान पसंद है और खाना पसंद है। तो आप
yeah,
सोचो कि कितना बुरा हाल होगा मेरा नफ्सियाती तौर पर, मेरा
yeah,
बुरा हाल कितना होगा कि मैं ये बात कहने पर मजबूर हूँ। और यही बात मैं बार-बार कहने, मैं एक लड़का हूँ, मगर लड़का होने के बावजूद मैंने पाकिस्तान का, आई मीन आई नो सो मच अबाउट यूरोप, so much about Europe because I traveled so much.
right,
And
right.
but ask me anything about Pakistan. I wouldn't have like one thing to tell you. I can't even tell you how to go from Lahore to, for example, to Islamabad by road. I can't
Mm,
tell you that. Of
mm,
course, I would
mm,
say, okay, maybe take a bus and it will take you
yeah,
there.
yeah,
But I cannot tell you the experience of the journey because I don't have that. Ask
I
me
know.
how to go from Czech Republic, from Prague to Bratislava. I would be able to tell you. how to go by bus, how to go by train, what would you see, what you will not see, what you can do, what you cannot do, things like that. But the place where I was actually born, I have there's no fondness about that. ये
I know.
कराची में अभी जिंदगी में पहली दफा गया था, वो भी सिर्फ हवाई जहाज से मैं उतरा, कुछ
हाँ
घंटे रहा और फ्लाइट लेट थी कराची से लाहौर की, और बाद में वहां पर भी जो है तमाशे शुरू हो गए 2-3 घंटे में. I was not allowed, so I came out of the airport and then I was
yeah
not allowed to go back into the airport. Can you imagine that?
yeah
मैं उस सिक्योरिटी गार्ड को कह रहा हूँ, मैंने कहा भाई मेरी ये देखो टिकट है मेरे
टिकट है
पास,
मेरे पास.
ये हूँ मैं,
Yeah.
तुम मेरे कपड़े देख लो, मैं तो तुमने सामान चेक करना, तुम सामान चेक करो, मुझे अंदर तो जाने दो. कहते नहीं भाईजान आप बाहर आ गए हैं और आप 1 घंटा पहले से तो मैं 2 घंटे पहले से तो मैं आपको पहले नहीं जानता. और मैंने कहा भाई मेरी फ्लाइट लेट है, सुबह के 4:30 बज रहे हैं, कॉफी यहाँ पे मिलती नहीं है, कुछ करने को मैं क्या. अच्छा, and I'll tell you what pissed me off. I was standing outside. And Karachi used to be, I mean, it's the same probably for you, a person who is from Lucknow, who's going to Mumbai, and you heard all those stories and the media have like brainwashed you. अच्छा, and then you really don't want to go anywhere. सुबह 4:30-5 बजे इंसान कहाँ जाता है? आपकी कनेक्टिंग फ्लाइट है, वो भी लेट, आप तो. अच्छा, मैं बाहर खड़ा हुआ हूँ, बिल्कुल गेट के बाहर, कराची एयरपोर्ट के गेट के बाहर. I went to the toilet, and then I came out, and there was this guy who was like, अस्सलाम वालेकुम. I said, वालेकुम सलाम. आप मेरा सामान अंदर करवा देते. मैंने कहा सॉरी, आप मेरा सामान अंदर करवा देते हैं, देखें मेरे पास ज़्यादा सामान है, मैं आप लाहौर जा रहे हैं? मैंने कहा जी मैं लाहौर जा रहा हूँ. जी मैं भी लाहौर जा रहा हूँ, मेरा सामान अंदर करवा देते हैं, मेरे पास ये 2 बैग वो अंदर जाने नहीं दे रहे, तो ये 1 बैग आप ले लें. और मैंने कहा भाई कौन है तू? ठीक है भाई, मैं शायद मेरे देखने से लगता हो कि मैं बच्चा मासूम सा लगता है और शायद इतना इसका
पता नहीं है. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
उसके बाद मैं गया, मैंने कहा यार मेरी बात. अच्छा, मैं उसके बाद पुलिस वाले खड़े हुए थे, मैं उनके पास आकर खड़ा गया. मैंने कहा यार अब मेरे पास फोन है, जेब में कुछ पैसे हैं, कार्ड्स हैं, बहन की आप शादी पे जा रहे हैं, आप बंदा कहते हैं यार अच्छा ये मैं किस हिसाब में फंस गई. ये छोटी छोटी चीजें होती हैं जो आपको तंग करती हैं. यही बात यहाँ पर होती यूरोप में, तो मुझे कोई मसला ही नहीं था. किसी ने पहली बात ये किसी ने मुझसे ऐसा सवाल पूछना ही नहीं था. तुम अपनी राह रहो, वो दूसरा शख्स अपनी राह पे जाए. और आपको तो इस किस्म की जो बातें. और जब अब आप एक लड़की हैं, आपको तो 36,000 जो है. अच्छा आप सिंगल हैं? एक तो लड़की को सवाल पड़ा, आप सिंगल हैं?
The ironic part is, which I've realized, is वो पूछ लेंगे आपसे कि आप सिंगल हैं. आपका मतलब जो भी, if you say yes or no, फर्क कोई नहीं पड़ता उनको. It doesn't matter what the answer is.
नहीं देखिए, ठरक जो होती है ना, ठरक का कोई ठिकाना नहीं होता. वो हर जगह होती है.
Exactly. Like tourism is such, I'm saying capitalist behavior ही सोच लेते हैं ना, पैसे चाहिए ना. You are a poor nation, you want money, right? Travel has so much money. आप उसको exploit ही नहीं कर रहे हो. Like in Europe, as you said, एक country का वीजा होता है, आप 27 country फिर सकते होते हो.
हाँ बिल्कुल.
Europe, I know for sure, has like student plans वगैरह. They encourage students to travel. अभी COVID के बाद जब उन्होंने लॉकडाउन ओपन किया, they gave a bonus, जो भी बोलते हैं उसको, they were encouraging travelers. We will give you 50 pounds, not dollars, pounds, whatever.
I get it.
Yeah, and they encourage that thing. And India में, you still again have a subcontinent. I'm saying ऐसा पूरा एशिया भी नहीं कह रही. I'm just saying this is the subcontinent. We have like 7-8 countries. आपस ही में नहीं, मतलब इंडिया पाकिस्तान से इन्होंने बनाया हुआ है.
Exactly. This is what I was about to say. We have SARC.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's useless. आप SARC के अंदर ही नहीं फिर सकते. I'm saying it's useless because आप अंदर ही नहीं फिर सकते.
आप SARC में भी नहीं फिर सकते. और I mean नेपाल तो बहुत मशहूर है, लोग ये उसके लिए जाते हैं, माउंटेनिंग के लिए जाते हैं, ठीक है. और चीजें हमारे पास वो काराकोरम है, रेंजर्स हैं, लोग मरते हैं जाने के लिए यार वहाँ पे, और इतना कुछ है. मैं जब भी पाकिस्तान से यहाँ से जब यूरोप में ट्रैवल करता हूँ बाकी लोगों से, उनको पाकिस्तान का कुछ नहीं पता, उनको सिर्फ काराकोरम रेंज का पता है कि यार that's the part we have K2 and all that. I'm like yeah. And do you know anything about, like, I said no, I don't know anything about that. Ask me how to go. I'll tell you something else, and these are the things, and this is what I really think how it went downhill. तो फिर लोग कहते हैं कि हमारे बच्चे खराब हो गए हैं, हमारे बच्चे जो हैं अब फोन्स के ऊपर मसरूफ रहते हैं, या हमारे जो बच्चे हैं एक वो क्या नाम है, they become more sexual, they become more violent, they become more, you know,
अरे बच्चा भी
all
क्या
those।
करे ना, he
हाँ,
is
और क्या
only
कर।
exposed to social media, he is only exposed to that phone.
हाँ,
अभी सारे बच्चे तो इतने they are not so aware, और like कुछ बच्चे होते हैं for sure, I'm not taking away from those kids, but सारे बच्चे तो नहीं हो सकते ना एक ही तरीके के। आप तो नहीं थे ना इतने, मतलब नॉट यू बट जो पेरेंट्स who complain, आप तो नहीं थे अपने जमाने में इतने इंटेलिजेंट, तभी भी आप भी यही सब कर रहे थे, मतलब जो भी कोई आपने बल्ब तो नहीं इजाद कर दिया
यार
होता।
नहीं सारे, everybody is different, but I'm not very social, you know,
Mhm.
meeting other Asian people, uh, or anyone, to be honest. I mean, Hammad is my friend. I don't know what he told you about me, but I met him when I was acting, and he started playing the music. So
Mhm.
at that time, that was the first interaction that he saw me acting for a program, and he was playing, you know, doing a kind of a
Mhm.
gig over there as well. तो ये हमारी इंटरेक्शन थी, एंड दैट इज लाइक 18 years, आई नो हिम फ्रॉम 18 years। और यहाँ पर मुझे 10 से ज़्यादा साल हो गए हैं, तो मुझे यहाँ इतने सालों में मैंने यहाँ पर कोई दोस्त नहीं बनाया। एक वही दोस्त पाकिस्तान का, वो यहाँ पर आ गया हुआ था, तो उससे
Perfectly fine. आप अपने में रहते हैं, concentrating on your things. It's better. It's good.
self-preservation is so important.
Yeah.
Self-preservation is so important. We are in this, you know, we are living in this era that people are just like, लोग अपना खाना भी खाने लगते हैं तो वो तस्वीर ले लेते हैं खाने की, कि आओ भाई आज मैं ये खा रही हूँ।
मैं कह रही हूँ मुझ पे पर्सनल अटैक करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं
नहीं,
थी।
तुम पे तो मैं कह नहीं रहा, मैं तुम्हें मैं देखो यार, हमें social media
I'm just
presence
kidding,
is
yeah.
important. Social media
Yeah.
presence is important, but the self preservation is way more important than that. If you're going to give away every single thing, it's just like in a relationship. आप एक relationship start करते हो, अगर आप सारा कुछ ही कह देना है, सारा कुछ सुन लेना है, सारा कुछ ही कर लेना है, सारी किंग्स को निकाल देना है, ठीक है, शादी से पहले ही, तो फिर शादी करने के बाद या उसको फिर क्या कुछ नहीं होता। फिर आपने क्या किस चीज पे एक्सप्लोर करना है, ज़ाहिर एक कंटिन्यूटी होती है। तो यही वो चीजें हैं जो मैं समझता हूँ कि I think this is one of the reasons that, you know, if somebody is a musician, just show that facade of yours on social media, that this is who I am. There's no need to show कि आज मैंने ये खाया और ये पहना और आज मैं यहाँ गया और
But
यहाँ गई।
वो भी फसाद ही है। I genuinely feel कोई इतना अच्छा खाना और पहनना,
इसका मतलब है जब तुम हलीम खा रही होती है तो तुम ये नहीं बताती, मगर जब तुम चाउमीन खा रही होती है तुम बता रही होती है। ये कह रही हो तुम मुझे।
yeah, I am not a social media celeb, so to say. मेरे कोई followers वगैरह नहीं है, and because I do it, I am so certain that these social media popular people do it because I click pictures whenever I'm out, and probably I'm not feeling कि मैं अभी डाल दूँ, I put it like a month after और
ठीक है।
पहले, and timelines are sorted, और उनको तो अब मैं if I remove the date and I just post a picture and write weekend vibes, you'd think that is this weekend. I never specified which weekend it is.
So this is what I'm trying to say. I mean, I'm not doing any. All what I'm trying to say is that because of the social media, the self-preservation is important.
Yeah.
You have to preserve yourself. I don't know why people want to judge other people on based on their social profiles. कि अच्छा जी ये ऐसा है, इसने ये पोस्ट किया तो ये ऐसी है। अच्छा क्यों छोड़ दो, खुद जिंदा रहो और जिंदा रहने दो, खुश रहो और खुश रहने दो। लोग खुद खुश नहीं होते तो लोगों की शुरू कर देते हैं कवाली करना।
I know. So then, would you like to talk a little bit about moved out and then फिर आपने बहुत travel किया? The life improved in, मतलब आप जो इस expectation के साथ गए थे, you shifted to UK, were those fulfilled या फिर आपको थोड़ा सा undersell ही लगा कि नहीं, you expected more? And
I've been blessed with every single thing which I wanted in my life. I've been जो मैंने सोचा था उससे बेहतर चीजें हुई मेरे साथ जिंदगी में। बहुत बुरी चीजें भी हुई, बहुत बुरी चीजें हुई, मगर मुझे लगता है कि ये जो बुरा पार्ट होता है वो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट होता है आपकी ग्रोथ के लिए। सो आई मीन आई एम वेरी फ्लेक्सिबल साइकोलॉजिकली। बुरी चीज़ इधर से अगर कुछ होता है तो आई मीन कुछ चीज़ें जिनके ऊपर आप स्टैंड लेते हो, कुछ ख्वाब ऐसे होते हैं जिनको आपको होता है कि हाँ ये मुझे करना है। मेरे लिए जो गोल था वो ट्रैवलिंग ही थी। मुझे नहीं पता बाकी लोग जो है नेचुरलाइजेशन की तरफ क्यों जाते हैं, यानी कि जो परमानेंटली जो है एक यूरोप में रहना पसंद करते हैं, तो आप कहते हैं अच्छा जी मेरे पास PR होनी, परमानेंट रेजिडेंस होनी चाहिए या नेशनैलिटी होनी चाहिए। तो नेशनलाइजेशन की तरफ मेरा जो जाने का मकसद था वो सिर्फ एक ही था कि मैं ट्रैवल कर सकूं। ठीक है, अगर अगर मैं पाकिस्तानी पासपोर्ट के ऊपर सिर्फ पाकिस्तान में ट्रैवल कर सकता हूँ तो मुझे उस पासपोर्ट को जो है ना
आग सबमिट कर देना।
नहीं, आग लगा देनी चाहिए, क्योंकि उसका कुछ फायदा नहीं है भाई, उसका कुछ फायदा नहीं है। अगर आप हिंदुस्तानी पासपोर्ट की तो चलो फिर भी जो है बेहतर है, मगर हमारा तो बिल्कुल। So that's what I was trying to tell you, that my whole idea was that I would be able to travel. यार अच्छा, मुझे ये नहीं सोचना। आज मैं अगर कहूँ ना कि यार मैं न्यूजीलैंड जाना चाहता हूँ और मेरे पास पैसे हैं और मैं छुट्टियाँ ले सकता हूँ, तो मैं कहूँगा अच्छा यार, अगर मैं सब टिकट खरीदो और तुम चले जाओ जहाँ दुनिया के कोने में जहाँ जाना चाहते हो। 100 पता नहीं, एक 189 183 और 189 कंट्रीज जो है। तो ये था मेरा कि यार अच्छा चलो, दैट शुड बी that I would be able to travel. और इसके अलावा क्या है, यहाँ पे ज़ाहिर है ज़िंदगी ठीक है, लाइट नहीं जाती, यहाँ पे पानी मिल जाता है आपको, यहाँ पे जो है आज़ादी है,
बेसिक ह्यूमन राइट्स है।
हाँ, जिंदा सांस आ सकती है। तो ये था मेरा। मगर मैं मेरे ख्याल से पाकिस्तान भी शायद बहुत खुशी से रहता, मगर हमारी वहाँ पे कंजर्वेटिव सोसाइटी है यार, बहुत बंद सोसाइटी है, और मैं उस वजह से जो है मेरा उससे कोई लेना देना नहीं है।
नहीं, दैट्स नाइस। तो फिर आप आगे, फिर आपकी लाइफ का डॉक्यूमेंट्री में और क्या बचता है? फिर आप यू मूव देयर, यू आर वर्किंग, यू आर ट्रैवलिंग,
और वो बातें जो मैं नहीं बता सकता ऑन द कैमरा।
लेट्स नॉट, श्योर, कुछ बातें ऐसी भी होनी चाहिए, बाद में पता चले, कोई बात नहीं।
नहीं, वो ऐसी बातें जो लोग देख रहे थे, ये कुत्ता है।
नहीं
यार, it's just like long jokes apart, it's fine. So things went well, everything is okay. My more focus was just like to talk philosophically about occults, about life in general. I mean, I'm okay. I mean, I think what makes me unique in a way is that I have a different journey from many other people in many ways, because like I said, I'm an artist now, and I'm an occultist in a way. I think the only thing probably which left is that I write. I've wrote a novel. It took me for about 5-6 years. Hopefully by the end of this year I'll be able to. No, I'm going to self-publish that.
Okay.
My work is very dark. It's very philosophical. It is very, very deep, philosophically, and otherwise as well. It has a lot of layers to my work, and there's a lot of like sexual content. Not sexual, but like philosophically sexual content in there. It's not 50 Shades of Grey, but it's like, no, it's not like that. But this is what I'm saying, that it has that facade. It tells you about the things which nobody wants to talk about, and I think that was very important for me to
let me know when it's published. I'd love to get a copy and read.
Yeah, I'm gonna publish it hopefully by the end of the fall. Everything is ready. It's been edited. I stopped, because I was busy with my diploma, Palmistry diploma, and I'm like really focusing on it. I'm trying to finish it as soon as possible, get the diploma, and start doing my practice, the professional practice. And then I think I'll go back to because it was when you write a story for 5 years, you become that person psychologically in a way. And तो मैं उन किरदारों के साथ ही रह रहा था, उन ख़वातीन के साथ अपने दिमाग में घूम रहा था, तो it was really. So I think I needed that break before started writing my second novel. In order to do that, I need to decrease my working hours. So I wanted to start my practice as a professional palm reader. So I spent the money, decrease my working hours, and then I can write. And that's how I'm
planning it. Yeah. Very nice. So anything that you would like to put in this documentary that I might not have asked?
नहीं यार, मुझे तो कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा। तुम्हारे पास कोई
बाकी you are an author, तो आपने अपनी ऑटोबायोग्राफी लिख लेनी है sometime, पर जब तक आप नहीं लिख रहे तब तक ये.
I think it was not that much about me. I think it was much more about enlightening the people, and that is what the whole idea is, that I want to. I just want to put my message across, verbally, in writing, in any way. So people wouldn't just get fooled by the fake astrologers and palm readers and these occultist people. If someone have a question regarding palmistry or carology, about anything to do with the hands, they can come to me, they can ask me.
Sure. No, I'll leave your social media handle, because you're big on telling the people and educating them about it. So is there going to be a YouTube channel?
Planning on that, I have to. There are a couple of things which I really want, because I just wanted to like do a week video a week. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's very important is that, just a 5 minute video in which I'm going to give, if somebody wants to understand something. Um, I am planning on that. Definitely, I'm going to do that, because I
Mm-hmm.
think I had I researched on the YouTube, the people who are doing these astrology, palmistry, sorry, palmistry
Yeah.
channels. Oh my God, pathetic, pathetic, pathetic. I mean, जो शुरू हुई थी palmistry, वही चल रही है, वही बातें.
Since because we are talking about it in a desi construct कि वही चल रहा है. I have just one question. जो ये हमको मिलते हैं ना कि वही the ones you mentioned कि आप में फलाना प्रॉब्लम है और ये शनि भारी है राहु भारी है and then you pay me and I'll fix it for you.
Oh yeah.
Is a fix possible?
No, how? I mean, how is that? This is what I said earlier as well. That if you are
Yeah.
here, if somebody is saying that to you, that you have a karmic debt to pay in the Indian, in the for the Indian for the Hindu people or the Buddhist people. So if somebody have a karmic debt, and if somebody is claiming that you have a karmic debt, then you have to pay that off rather than just keep coming back into this world.
तो वो मतलब आप पैसे देके भी सोल्यूशन नहीं है. You're just wasting
इस
your money.
दुनिया में, okay, I'll say it in English in a very in simple way. The only thing what you can do in order to make your life easier, if you are having trouble with the money, that you are working very hard, you're putting a lot of effort, but the return is not coming as you're expecting it. So my advice for everybody, and that is the only remedy: start giving charity. If you earn 100 Indian Pakistani rupees, do go out and put 5 rupees in someone's pocket. If you can't do that, do it for, go and just do it like 1 rupiya de. Just give 1 rupee. You have to do that. This is the system. More you will give, more you will get. There are no doubts about it. 2, people are worried about their health. If somebody would have a problem, they whatever their trouble is, they could be going through really serious illness, they could be going through a minor illness, they might have low immunity, and they keep getting things. Okay, go and start giving charity in the hospitals. Pay. Same thing, same logic. If you're earning 100, go out and give 5 rupees. Go put into the donation box of the hospital. Don't think about this thing that if that money is going to make to those deserving people or not. Your intention is the most important thing, which is going to define your life.
Right.
I am not a religious person, but I am going to quote one saying of Prophet Muhammad, and that is amal ka daromadar niyaton par hai. We say that in Urdu. Amal means that your actions are judged on the basis of your intention. So it does not matter what are you doing. At the end of the day, as Buddhist, Hindu, Jain, Muslim, Christian, Jew, Sikh, anyone, we all believe on the day of judgment in one way or another way. Remember this thing, that force, which is that divine force over there, is going to judge us on the undoubtedly, not from your actions, but what was your intention. Self defense के ऊपर कत्ल भी माफ होता है. सोचो इसके बारे में. सेल्फ डिफेंस के ऊपर कत्ल भी माफ होता है कि अगर आपको कोई शख्स मारना चाह रहा है और आप अपनी जिंदगी के बचाव के लिए किसी शख्स को मार देते हैं और आपको माफ है, आप यू विल बी बेल्ड आउट. कहने का मकसद ये है, दिस इज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट, द टेक अवे ऑफ द होल of this point is your intention, and we know that खुदा, भगवान, अल्लाह, रब, गुरुजी, सब उनके दरमियान और आपके दरमियान एक चीज कॉमन है, और वो ये है कि जो आप कर रहे हैं उनको पता है और आपको पता है. और अगर आपके बाप को नहीं पता, आपकी माँ को नहीं पता, आपकी बहन को नहीं पता, आपके भाई को नहीं पता, आपके खामन को नहीं पता, आपकी बीवी को नहीं पता, आपके बच्चों को नहीं पता, आपके दोस्तों को नहीं पता, किसी को नहीं पता, और किसी को पता होने की जरूरत भी नहीं है. लोग आपको जज करते हैं, आप कहें ठीक है, जी को जज करें. आप खुद कौन है, आपको अपने अंदर, अगर आपकी इंटेंशंस ठीक है, आपकी जिंदगी के आधे से ज्यादा मसाइल खत्म हो जाते हैं. More than half of your problems will just eliminate if you will put your intentions in the right direction. And this is what the takeaway is. अच्छा, we were talking about the remedies. पैसे नहीं आ रहे, आप पैसे डोनेट करना शुरू कर दें, जितने भी आपके, यानी आप जो आप अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं. आपकी सेहत खराब है, आप यू नॉट हेल्दी, आप ठीक है, आप ये देना शुरू कर दें. एक शख्स है, अगर मौत के, फॉर एग्जांपल, somebody is in a, let's just say somebody is like in a, is a cancer patient and they know this thing that they are not gonna live, और आप डर में और तकलीफ में, ये नहीं होता कि शायद हो सकता है खुदा या जो ऊपर सुपर पावर बैठी हुई है, हो सकता है वो आपको उसमें से निकाल कर फौरी तौर पर ना ले जाए, मगर आपकी उस एक्शन की वजह से आपकी दर्द तकलीफ में कमी हो जाएगी. एंड दैट इज द होल आइडिया. ठीक है ना? सो एंड व्हाट एल्स पीपल यूजुअली स्ट्रगल फॉर? ओके, मोहब्बत, you are really in love with someone. If you are really in love with someone, and I think it's more for the people who want to get married to a particular person, or people who are having problem with their relationship. Okay, if you think that you are, then go on, and then I think start, be honest to your partners, first thing first, and the second thing is that go on and be nice to the nature, be nice to the animals, be nice to all these, to the humanity, and I'm sure it will reflect on you. You have to perform a charity in order to balance it off somewhere.
Yeah, so it's like the law of the universe sort of a situation wherein what you give out, you will get back. So you have to manifest things.
Absolutely. सारे रिलेशनशिप्स चलने वाले नहीं होते, सारे ब्रेकअप्स आपको मौत के मुंह की तरफ
नहीं. क्यों चाहिए?
People enter into different relationships just because of that. It's and that's true for your parents as well. I mean, you are not always that close to your parents like you used to be when you were younger. Time changes, so the relationship, your emotional response changes, and their emotional response change back. And then these are the things. I mean, try to understand this thing, that a point will come in your life when you will say, okay, that's enough. It just looks like that. It's not going to work out anymore. रोज एक दूसरे का गला घूंटने से बेहतर है कि आप जो है एक पुरसकून खात्मा करना, अपनी जिंदगी को जो है ना चलाने की कोशिश करें.
I genuinely believe कि हर रिश्ते की एक उम्र होती है, और वो उम्र खत्म होने पे वो रिश्ता खत्म हो ही जाता है. उसमें कोई सही गलत, अच्छा बुरा, कोई ऊपर नीचे वाला इंसान नहीं होता. No one is wrong, no one's right. Yeah, 3 more questions which I'd like to ask everyone, which is, what do you think is happiness to you?
Happiness is definitely a state of mind. Happiness for me, it's like a wave. Imagine you're standing on a shore, and the waves are coming and they're touching your feet and then receding away and then coming back again. And that's what really happiness is. More you will run for that, lesser you will have of it.
Nice. How do you define success? What is the definition of success for you?
If you can sleep peacefully, if you are living a healthy life physically, and you can sleep, and you have shelter on the top of your head, and you have enough money to buy and enjoy the food, that is all. There is nothing more than that.
Right. And then finally, what is death?
And death is a transition. That the law of the physics, that energy can't be created or destroyed, something like that. And this is exactly who we are. We just transform from one body to another body. There's nothing. I have written actually a lot about death, and a lot. These 3 questions which you have asked, I have thought a lot about that. Death is nothing. Death is just a transition from A to B to C to D, and that's it. Because when the sense of time will be over, there will be no death.
Nice. So that was all that I had to ask, and thank you so much for being so generous with your time and for the wonderful conversation that we had. I loved it.
I'm glad that we talked, because of course, I mean, I'm not really a social person. I just, because you saw me, you're gonna make that introduction anyway. But I'm glad that we talked, and I think the most important thing for me was to put my message across to the people. it's not about getting an audience or just even one single person would be able to understand, and I would be able to change their life in a positive way. Um, that's more than enough, and I think that's how I look at the things, because at the end of the day, the takeaway is the experience. If you know, so if somebody watched this more than an hour or an hour 20-25 minutes of this conversation, I hope they enjoyed it. I hope they learned something out of that. If
I
you have
hope
any
to.
questions, come back to me, and I just hope that your channel and your work, what you are doing, and prospers, and then you will get what you're trying to achieve. And with that note, I think off
Thank
we
you.
will.
Thank you so much.